Hey guys, welcome back to the Pod of Greed. I'm Paul.
What up? I'm Alec.
And we're here to talk about card games.
Yeah.
And other things.
Card games, other things, AI.
I gotta say, a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! News this week, actually.
There actually has been plenty.
I know last week was like a sort of slower one. This week, not the case.
It's not been slow at all. And
not the case. Do you wanna, you got stuff to start us out? I got stuff.
Yeah. So, I've been working on some new decks.
Have you been working on
Well,
some new
I guess they're not new, but I've been messing around with heroes. And do you know why I've been messing around with heroes, Paul?
Why have you been messing around with them?
Because I finally got my hands on Arm Neos and the new Flame Wingman from Battles of Legends Monstrous Revenge, which we talked about a little bit last week. But I just want to say, because I did see this, as someone did float the question in the comment section of the last video, asking my opinions on the new heroes. Yo, these new hero monsters are sick. It's a shame that the Flame Wingman retrain is essentially just the perfect hero bridge piece. It's not a retrain of Flame Wingman at all. It's not Flame Wingman, but it's like the perfect hero card right now.
So it's like a good card, but
yeah,
maybe lore-wise or like kind of anime faithfulness, it's not really.
Yeah, it's not Flame Wingman, but it's a great hero. And Armed Neos is a especially great card too. I kind of see it in the same vein as Rainbow Neos. It doesn't have the same kind of fluid effect of being able to destroy monsters, speller traps, or what's the hand? Or the banished things? I forget what the third effect on that Rainbow Neos was. Anyway, Arm Neos is also a great card. You can even use to cheat out other heroes that you're normally not supposed to be able to summon easily. I just love that card. I just love the new heroes.
Yeah, well, speaking of heroes, it's actually a great segue into the 2023 North America World Championship qualifier.
AKA the only one that matters. No, that's not true. I'm just joking.
Well, I mean, it was certainly a big event. It had approximately 3,000 players, 12 rounds of Swiss.
Can you imagine 3,000 Kashtira players?
Well, thankfully, that's not what it was, although there were a lot of Kashtira players. So I guess what we're interested in, of course, is the fact that Jeremy Mitchell won. So congratulations to him. I don't know him personally, but I know that I've been to a lot of the same events that he has, because he's been playing Yu-Gi-Oh for a hot minute.
I mean, you've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh for a hot minute.
Yeah, I guess that's true, but he's been
guys, I haven't been playing Yu-Gi-Oh that long. Just
winning
my whole life.
at Yu-Gi-Oh for a hot minute, unlike me.
I have no idea what that's like.
So congrats to him. He was playing Kashtira. The breakdown for the top 64 was actually more diverse than people might think. There were a lot of Kashtira decks, but there were also
no surprise.
Dragon Link, Pirelli, Sprite, Rika Sun Avalon, Brenda Despia, Manatium, Labyrinth, Gold Pride, Vanquished Souls, Heroes, and Tearlaments.
Wow, that's like every slightly relevant deck for the last two formats, it feels.
Yeah, a lot of just a lot of diversity for sure. Now, of course, Kashtira did make up the majority of, well, not the majority, it was 21 of 64 spots, so not quite the majority, but as
a solid percentage.
Yeah, a hefty chunk. And then as things kind of broke down, it further took up more and more spots.
What was the second most popular deck?
Let's see, the second most represented deck was Sprite, actually, with 12. Kind of a surprise. I was expecting something like maybe Branded to be there, but it had 7. Now, the reason that Heroes seems relevant is because there was a hero player who got all the way to top 32, which is pretty awesome. I think that's something that I saw a lot of people really getting behind. You don't see Heroes very much in the top cut of these competitive events.
You don't.
So,
but I can tell you why, or I have a general idea on why Heroes can make it further than they could previously.
Okay, what's your story?
The new Flame Wingman retrain can search for your favorite speller traps, and typically they're all terrible, except for Favorite Contact, the trap card that lets you special summon one of your hero monsters on your opponent's turn. And a lot of people are making great use of Shining Neos Wingman, who destroys cards for every attribute on the field.
I have no clue that's what he was playing. Do you know what his build was? I haven't.
He'd be crazy not to.
Well, at any rate, his name is Nicholas Christmas. You can check out his profile on YouTube. I've heard there's a couple of versions of the profile up. So,
I mean, every YouTuber worth their salt has a hero's profile right now. We don't, but the ones worth their salt do.
Yeah, anybody at that event I think would definitely want to record it. It actually reminds me, Konami at these YCS events has started allowing people to do a little bit more recording as long as you do it in their designated media area.
But I thought the media area was really small. At least it was the last time I saw one.
I mean, it's not huge, but I guess it's supposed to be a
thing, there's like a child's like school desk. And there you go, guys. That's your media spot.
Yeah. So some other kind of conversation pieces that came out of it were that Eradicator epidemic virus once again made a really big impact. Kashtira is able to use it pretty effectively among a few other decks. So it was ripping spells and claiming games.
That is what the card does.
And also Dimension Shifter made a lot of impact as well. I've seen a lot of people
Wait
complain.
a minute, never mind. I'm mad about that card. You use that against me.
Yeah, I know. Dimension Shifter's nasty.
I'm not talking about Dimension Shifter. I'm talking about epidemic virus.
Oh yeah, that too.
He uses it in friendlies like a bad person.
Hey, listen, if your deck can use it. The point is, though, is that these are some really polarizing cards that some people seem to have a bit of a problem with. I don't have the strongest opinion on these cards right now because, again, I am not like an active sort of tournament player in the TCG right now. Most of my Yu-Gi-Oh time is Master Duel.
Guys, it's a lot of time. I cannot undersell or oversell how much time he has.
But I will say that I totally understand why people don't like these blowout cards. Like, I get it from just a gamer kind of perspective. It feels like you don't get to play, and that sucks. So
you just got outmaneuvered by a superior opponent.
Though I will say I don't think that Konami is likely to hit these sorts of cards because they tend not to really hit them very much. So maybe this will just be the same.
I guess it depends on how it happens.
I think Konami tends to avoid, I've noticed, like hitting reactive or like anti-meta cards very much in their ban list. They usually just hit the meta cards and then.
Is that why it took so long to get rid of Mystic Mind?
I don't know what the story is with that, but
you know what's weird? I kind of miss it now.
Do you?
Yeah, I do, which is weird.
Oh God, that'll get you your head on the stake. So yeah, that was the North America World Championship qualifier. Top 4 was 4 Kashtira decks. That's maybe a little bit disappointing. I know people probably would have preferred a little bit of diversity there, but
all right, so it's just like, so who's gonna win?
Yeah, but you know, it's what it does. I don't think there's anything else to say about it. Just that it was a really cool event. It sounds like I wasn't able to be there, but it sounds like people had fun.
We were this close to going. This close.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the North America World Championship qualifier. We'll see those top 4 players along with a few others at the Worlds event in Japan. So maybe that'll be worth tuning into.
And now you'll have to work a whole year to get a new invite to go to the next one, Paul, that you won't go to.
Yeah, I don't think I'll. I mean, I don't know. I don't know that tournament Yu-Gi-Oh like in person is necessarily for me, but yeah. So that's the kind of competitive news now. Just in general, there's a lot of other Yu-Gi-Oh stuff going on right now.
Oh yeah.
What do you have? You got something or?
Well, I was going to talk about the some of the reveals we saw out of what's called Duelist Nexus.
Oh yeah, I've seen
is
some
that the
of
name
those.
of the set? I'm making sure I get that right. Yeah, Duelist Nexus. So I pulled up. I closed my tablet like an idiot, but I did pull up the new world premiere archetype.
What is it? I heard someone say the name and I didn't look into it.
So they are called, allegedly, Tistina. Tistina. Tistina.
Okay.
So
this
is an archetype of what looks to be living crystals. Luckily, there's a write-up on them. In this world, there is a massive crystal embedded in the center of a great mountain range. An entire crystal domain extends forth from every direction, changing everything that's touched by it into the shape of a crystal. The crystal rot doesn't just affect the environment either. It spreads to animals and other life forms within the domain of the great crystal, transforming them into an entirely new being.
Okay, what's it do? I just like, what is it? It's like a synchro thing, Xyz fusion. Or is it just?
I'm gutting through the lore first.
Okay.
Oh my God, these Yu-Gi-Oh players.
Okay.
Is it a natural disaster or something else? Whatever it is, the creatures it's altered continue to roam free. The rot continues to spread, and something else seems to be forming within the domain as well. At the center of it all lies something that has become known as the crystal god Tistina. All who gaze upon its form marvel at its beauty and experience true fear. So, yeah, we actually don't. I don't think I actually know much more about them. I have pictures of the artwork.
Are they going to be like revealed? I guess later in the week. We're recording this on Wednesday, so
Yeah, it's a Wednesday.
they look like adamantimators. Like
They
they're
do,
synchros.
yeah, that whole like crystal deal. This could be a single archetype. This could be it could be anything. There's with the way Yu-Gi-Oh mechanics work now, almost any archetype, no matter what its artwork looks like, could do anything. These could be fusions for all we know.
Yeah. Well, I saw that. I saw that they were saying the 25th anniversary, like the quarter century secret rares. There's 25 of them in this set, which is really cool.
Okay.
And the one, what is it? It's like the one that's got the two magicians on it. I forget the
Magicians
name.
of Bonds and Unity.
Yeah, Magicians of Bonds and Unity. So it's going to be a quarter century card, and it's sort of special because it's going to have like a green background in this set for Duelist Nexus, but that same card is going to be in the next 3 sets after. And yeah, it's kind of weird. And you can pull it in those, but when you pull it in those, it'll have a different color background. So having all 4 Bonds and Unity Magicians in all 4 colors in like quarter century secret rarity is supposed to sort of be like a chase thing.
That feels weird.
I mean, I'm sure they thought it was a good. I mean,
Look, it's not a bad idea, but like I feel like this is weird, aesthetically non-pleasing fact that there being 4 of them, but you can only run 3 in a deck.
that's true. Although maybe here's the good news: its effect is so bad you're not actually going to be running it. I think it's just a
Oh,
collector's
wait, I
thing.
have the card. Let me see if I can read it. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned from your hand by having 25 or more cards in your graveyard. While your opponent has 25 or more cards in their graveyard, this card gains 2,500 attack and defense, which would give it 5,000, 5,000.
Yeah, so it's very much like a gimmick thing, but I guess
It's not,
in
it's not
theory,
a great gimmick, but I guess you're not supposed to play this.
yeah, you're not
You're supposed to
play it.
flex with it.
It's like 10,000 Dragon. I think it's sort of the just you have it. It's hard to pull. It might be worth a lot. So
What
that's
is
kinda cool.
10,000 Dragon worth now? Because I remember
Great question.
very early on, it didn't have as much value as people thought it would. But
looking it
now, yeah, I'm looking it up now. I think the times have changed.
I know it was like about $1,000 was the last I'd seen of it. I feel like it's probably. I want to assume, I guess, gone up since the set's out of print. But I remember it wasn't like a super.
Do they spell it out right on the card?
I
10,000.
don't remember.
I know, yeah.
It might have been a number. It might have been.
Here we go. Yeah, they spell it out. So 10,000 Dragon, Battles of Legend, Armageddon.
You run like what, TCG player?
Yep.
Yeah, let's hear it.
You can get a lightly played first edition
How much is lightly played?
for 1,030.
Oh, okay. So what's like near mint?
Who lightly played this?
Yeah, well, okay. So it's a little quick story time. I remember when we were at DreamCon last year.
Oh yeah.
And a kid pulled a 10,000 Dragon out of a random pack that he bought from like a vendor, just anime convention thing. And like he didn't have sleeves or anything.
That's
So
true.
he
I
just pulled it
forgot
and he was
that.
about to put it in his pocket.
Yo,
Like
Yo.
unsleeved. So it's not unrealistic then that like a lightly played or maybe even worse could exist.
I do have an anecdote about that. That was the very first time I experienced scumbag mentality. A part of me was ready to say and do whatever to like get that kid to trade me that card,
Yeah.
but I held back. I was like, no.
Yeah,
This
let
is
him-
his
let him have it.
prize.
This is his
He
thing.
deserves it.
It's funny though because he really didn't know what he pulled.
He didn't. He had
was
no
just like,
clue.
oh, I just
None.
this is some card. But no, I think
We
ended up.
even gave him a sleeve.
Yeah,
didn't
we ended up
Yeah.
helping him out because someone gave him a sleeve and some other things. But
Maybe
yeah,
this is that copy.
Well, how
This
much
is
is like a near mint one?
Yeah, near mint 1,100.
Okay, so it's really about the same as it's been.
Yeah,
I didn't know if it
it's
would
not
go
really
up. But it sounds
appreciating.
like it's about the same.
How many I wonder how many are on this website. I know you can kind of tell.
I bet more than you would think, because like 10,000 Dragon was like 1 in 2 cases or something of that set. So
they have 17 listings on TCG Player.
okay.
So, still fairly exclusive.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. I mean, Duelist Nexus has a few neat cards. I'll say this. The illusion type, I saw somebody mention this on Reddit, because like Duelist Nexus is supposed to be debuting these illusion monsters. And that's
Right.
kind of it's a big deal. It's a new type. I like that illusion monsters are kind of doing something that seems unique to them, which is that whole like they can't be destroyed by battle and they can't destroy monsters by battle. I think that's pretty cool.
Very kind of like Gemini spirit feeling.
Yeah, well, that was actually what I was going to say. Is I saw somebody on Reddit say that they felt that illusion should have really been a subtype because it kind of feels more like fitting for a subtype than an actual type. Like when
Worm?
someone, well, like Gemini, Union, Spirit.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
It's not a subtype?
It's not a subtype. Right? It's a type. Like a monster
It's a type.
Yeah, it's a type. It is a new type. It is not. Yeah, so you can't be like, dragon / illusion. It's an illusion. And so somebody on Reddit said that, and I was like, I think they have a point. Because the gimmick feels a lot like how kind of Unions had their gimmick. Geminis had their gimmick. Like, Spirits have their gimmick. They bounce back to the hand. And so it kind of feels like illusion would just be a subtype, just like them.
Yeah, because like
can't destroy in
Cybers
battle
and
all
Worms, they don't have gimmicks.
Yeah, Cybers and Worms they're just types. Like they kind of, and even Psychic when that was introduced. But so I don't know. It's like it remains to be seen what they're going to do with illusion past just like these first couple sets. Like, are they going to have more than just the battle gimmick? If so, then maybe it's fine. I don't know. It's just an interesting thought.
It is a little strange. I had not thought about that. Huh.
So, at any rate, yeah, that's going to be introduced in Duelist Nexus here at the end of the month. Now, here's something else that's kind of cool.
What's that?
You know how we were talking about there's that 2-player starter deck that they're going to be doing?
Yep.
Well, we finally got an image for the 2-player starter deck, what seems to be like this sort of product mock-up that shows a lot of different monsters on the cover. So it gives us a little bit more insight into what sort of cards will be inside of it. The 2 headlining monsters are Manatium Primeheart and Divine Arsenal AA Zeus. So I know they'd said it was like an Xyz and Synchro sort of like teaching people how to do those. So those are at least 2 of the monsters.
I have thoughts.
Yeah, what are your thoughts?
This is a starter deck for who exactly?
Yeah, that's the same reaction a lot of people had. What do you mean by that?
Well, just because when I think of starter cards, I promise you Zeus does not even remotely cross my mind. I love the card to death. Great card. That's a strange headlining card for like a starter deck. Like, while to make use of it, you have to know how to Xyz summon. But it itself actually cheats the Xyz summoning mechanic. And then its effect is so powerful.
Yeah, so, well, let me get back to that in a second.
Okay.
Because the rest of the cards that you can at least see on the cover are like Magic Cylinder, Phantom King Hydride, Cyber Dragon, Eldritch the Golden Lord, Visa Starfrost, Quillbolt Hedgehog, Gaga Magician, Dark Magician Girl, Beast King Barbaros, and Galaxy Cyclone. So what I noticed about a lot of these cards is that there's some interesting reprints and stuff in here, but maybe more importantly, these cards, and assuming other cards in this set, seem to cover a wide range of like mechanical things. Like, the way that like Eldritch works is kind of unique. The way that even Visa Starfrost works is kind of unique. Gaga Magician changes its level. Galaxy Cyclone pops a card and then in the grave it does something else. So I say all that because it makes me think that this product seems like it's really going to be a more thorough teaching of like every type of like effect and interaction, and not every type, but more relevant ones that come up today.
I feel like I'm stuck on whatever, like what most people are probably stuck on. You probably already moved past this point with this product.
Well, what do you think?
Are you sure there's just 2 decks in there? I don't understand how.
Yeah, they claim it's a two decks.
All these very disparate cards into just 2 decks. You're telling me that there's a possibility that that there's a deck with Magic Cylinder, Dark Magician Girl, and AA Zeus?
Yeah, that remains to be seen. Not sure where they're gonna go with that. I mean, I say that because like, if it's so, you remember how they said they're gonna have like the cartoon little like comic in there that's gonna kind of guide you through the duel. So I think it's less that the decks have theming and more that they are just kind of stacked to be like to have a very specific set of interactions. So these specific cards are what they needed to like play out each of these lessons they're teaching.
But when is Dark Magician Girl ever going to be the answer?
That's a great question. I don't know what she's doing in there. She's actually the one card that has me completely lost because everything else like has there's like like Beast King Barbaros, right? Like you have the option to tribute summon it, or
he's solid-ish. Even Cyber Dragon is solid-ish.
Well, I'm not even looking at like how good they are so much as like, do they teach a mechanic?
Well, that's what I mean.
And I don't understand what I mean. She
like,
doesn't.
As far as starter modern day Yu-Gi-Oh, I feel that Barbaros and Cyber Dragon are better starter modern day Yu-Gi-Oh cards than she is. Dark Magician.
I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I don't get what she's doing in there. I mean, again, remains to be seen. Like this is because this is only like 10 or so.
Is it possible that those are just pictures of cards and they actually have them in the product?
I'm pretty sure they're in the product. Okay. I mean, I'm pretty sure.
It's like, and then this is supposed to be a starter set, right? I have this feeling that normal Yu-Gi-Oh players are just gonna, if it's not too expensive. We talked about the price before, but I've already forgotten. But won't just normal Yu-Gi-Oh players just buy it for like reprints of like Zeus, and I don't know what Prime Heart goes for, but get the Prime Hearts too.
I saw some people saying that on Twitter that they're actually afraid that maybe this will be one of those products that gets like bought up because like the competitive types come in Walmart and Target and just like swipe them all up. I think that's a concern. It's just that because this is one of those sets where like there's not like a pull rate or anything, at least seemingly there's not. It's all fixed cards. I think if you're a competitive type, you might get like your copy to get your Zeus, or maybe even a play set or something. But then it's gonna like you don't have a reason to buy it after the fact. So I think what'll end up happening to it is something that happened to like the Dual Devastator thing, where like Konami didn't do another Dual Devastator because since it was a fixed rate product, after people got their Dual Devastators, there's never a reason to buy another, and then they started being like a surplus on the shelves. So my guess is that they're hoping that even though the competitive types will kind of grab this and get their Zeus or whatever if you need one, they'll leave it alone after that. Because, well, okay, like I've got my cards I need out of it, so now it can exist for the kids.
In that list, there are so many kind of just strong cards. I mean, Prime Heart, Eldritch, Zeus. I feel like there's probably other
strong cards,
good cards in there too.
Yeah, I mean, that's exciting.
What if there's droplets?
That'd be good, actually. I think they should include it. I mean,
triple tactics.
I do think that this is a better starter deck than, because like the big problem that I've always had with these starter decks. Well, we haven't had one in like 5 years or something.
It's been a while. No anime, no starter decks.
But like, is that a lot of starter decks misrepresent what Yu-Gi-Oh is today, where they're not really showing you like, and even still, I don't think these starter decks are gonna really do the best job of it. But like, modern Yu-Gi-Oh is not what a starter deck purports it to be. You don't really like normal summon a vanilla with 1800 attack and like end your turn. Like it doesn't work that way. And I think that that's almost deceptive to get people to think that like Yu-Gi-Oh's like that. And they get this, they go to their local or whatever and it's completely different. So yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that maybe what their plan is with this is to like really show people, okay, here's chain blocking. Here's like, how hand traps go. Here's like, things can come out of the grave and like you can banish spells and traps from the grave and like use their effects. It's not just, a dust tornado and a draining shield and like, tribute to the doomed. Like that's not like what Yu-Gi-Oh
tribute
is,
to the doomed that was a card at one point.
So yeah, I mean, that's the product looks cool. Like the cover of it looks really, really neat. I'm hoping that maybe pulls some eyes.
Maybe so.
Looks like it's very small packaging. It's not like those double magic sets. So like those are usually really big. This seems like it's pretty small. Efficient use of space. Any other Yu-Gi-Oh stuff on your end?
So there's some like news with Rush Duels.
Okay.
So due to leaks in Duel Links, they seem to be adding in a Rush Duel world and the Rush Duel dueling style in Duel Links.
That's actually really cool.
The I pulled up a tweet that now doesn't want to load anymore. But anyway, it just kind of detailed the leaks they found in Duel Links code that led them to believe that the next major installment in Duel Links will be Rush Duels. They actually have a rule switch code in the game that will switch from Speed Duel rules to Rush Duel rules.
Okay.
And the titular important cards are in the code. That's Seven's Road Magician,
Or Seven Roads
Yami
magician.
ruler thing, whose name I forget. I think Dragears is in there as well.
Yeah.
So it seems highly likely that Rush Duels will be playable in Duel Links soonish. I mean, no one knows when.
Well, typically, I know the new Duel Links worlds come like around like September, so.
Hopefully, in September we'll be doing some Rush Dueling. I know I will.
What do you think about it? Like, you think that's a good addition?
Yes, Well, I guess we don't need Rush Duels. I was gonna make a huge sweeping statement. I want Rush Duels. The Rush Duel video game was cute, but it wasn't enough for me. Duel Links has the kind of the polish that I wanted on the Rush Duel game.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, what is it that you kind of want out of it?
So I think, and then like Speed Duels aren't that far away from Rush Duels, where it will be some huge UI change that'd be necessary. I mean, it's simply just a rule switch, because I remember reading in this like thread of tweets about Rush Duels, is that Rush Duels have actually been programmed into all of our major Yu-Gi-Oh video games. Master Duel already has Rush Duels in the code.
Oh, that's the thing I didn't know.
It's in there, they just don't use it. And for a while, it's like, well, will they? Won't they? Well, at least with Duel Links, they will. So that leads me to think that maybe one day, maybe not this year, maybe next year, maybe the year after, we'll get Rush Duels and Master Duel too.
That would be interesting. I always thought it would be kind of neat if Master Duel or one of these games took the Cross Duel code. Because like Cross Duel's closing.
But like Cross Duel is a completely different thing.
I mean, it's completely different, but like, I mean, I think they throw it into Duel Links as just like a mode, so that it can live on. Because I always feel bad. We talked about this when some of these games just end. There were people who really liked Cross Duel and will just never be able to play it again. And so I say throw it in as some like mode hidden in a few menus or whatever in Duel Links, and then people can just play it. And like maybe it has like 3 people online at any given time. I mean, but you know,
I don't think that's a possible thing.
It's a possible thing.
Because like it's a completely different game. They have all that stuff have to be freshly integrated into the Duel Links system. That game file would get fatter and fatter. And look, I just want Rush Duels. I don't care about Cross Duels. I don't.
All right. Well, here's something interesting. On the merchandising front, you guys know I like to keep up with my Yu-Gi-Oh merch. In fact, we've got a few pop figures making guest appearances today.
Who's this? Summon Skull.
And Summon Skull got Red Eyes. Exodia's down there too. So, as the immensely popular Yu-Gi-Oh trading card, this is from Yu-Gi-Oh organization, by the way. As the immensely popular Yu-Gi-Oh trading card game,
as in the guy,
commemorates its 25th anniversary celebration, Konami Cross Media New York Incorporated has signed 4 new agreements. So these 4 new agreements will bring an array of exclusive licensed products to market in honor of the milestone, ranging from apparel, back-to-school accessories, streetwear, and metallic posters. So basically, they made deals with Ripple Junction, which is a kind of just apparel company, it seems. I've never heard of them.
News to me.
But they'll release Yu-Gi-Oh t-shirts, fleece, that's kind of cool, fashion tops, bottoms, sleep and lounge wear. You can get your Yu-Gi-Oh pajamas or something.
That'll be popular.
And as well as a number of accessories, including headwear, socks, throw blankets, bags, boxer shorts, and cell phone accessories for the United States and Canada.
They just throw logos on stuff, I bet.
Well, I'm hoping that there will be some maybe unique designs.
Right. Ripple Junction.
Oh, you looked it up?
Yep. So this is some website, and they have a Naruto section, a One Piece section, an Attack on Titan section, a Bleach section.
Oh, so they do a lot of anime.
A Mob Psycho section.
Collabs.
Yep, and you can just get your shirts, hoodies, long sleeves, pretty much everything you listed there. I mean, you can get it.
Cool, and then they also have Displate, which I think most people kind of know about.
Mine fell off my wall.
Displate, they make those like cool metallic kind of poster things. Some of them.
It ripped the paint.
Wait, did it? I thought it just fell.
Okay, no, it didn't rip the paint. But it did fall off, and it could have fallen on my head. It didn't, but it could have.
Yeah, it's these metallic posters, so I guess they're going to have some official Yu-Gi-Oh ones. I already own some unofficial Yu-Gi-Oh ones, I guess, because, I mean, the designs are on their website. I don't know.
Yo, they have Schoolhouse Rock merch?
Wait, where?
On this site, they have Schoolhouse Rock.
Oh, wow.
They have the bill. Oh, man, that's I'm going over there.
There's also U2s, which I actually did a sort of promo plug for them in one of the videos.
There's like a Ghost Rare Dark Magician U2 is running around his office somewhere.
Yeah, it's been on this podcast one day.
I hear now.
Not right now, but yeah. So U2s, they do little like high quality figures.
When do you get a U2? Don't all the big
to a million
YouTubers
subscribers? You guys got to help us. It's your fault we don't have one.
No, it's your fault. No.
And then there's Kitaboard, which is a French supplier of back to school products like backpacks, trolley bags, satchels, pencil cases, and diary books for fans living in France and French-speaking territories.
Can you spell that?
Yeah, it's KID 'ABORD.
Oh, you threw me with the apostrophe.
Well, at any rate, yeah. So I think Yu-Gi-Oh! School Supplies sounds fun, right? Like,
as an adult who's done with school forever, no, it doesn't.
But I do think it's cool just the idea that like kids might, kids like might actually be exposed to Yu-Gi-Oh! Again, a lot like how it was maybe when we were kids. So
we were exposed to Yu-Gi-Oh! Through the cartoon in commercials.
Yeah, it is a little weird, I guess, expecting kids to maybe buy this if they don't actually know what the show is, especially because they're gonna do DM.
Maybe the stuff comes with like a tag that says "Watch on Crunchyroll" or something. Because I don't really know how. Like, kids sees a picture of it. They see an Exodia backpack. They think Exodia looks so cool. They're gonna buy that backpack, and then they won't know what it is. A kid might be, "Hey, that's cool. What's that on your backpack?" I don't know. It looks cool though.
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, I mainly worry because I know they're just gonna do Duel Monsters era stuff, which means like, I mean, I guess kids might know about that.
How?
But it's like
they could do GX and kids won't know what that is.
Yeah, so I don't know. But it's still just as a general thing. I'm not going to try to bring it down too much. I think it is cool that these things exist because they didn't before. So it's one more piece of Yu-Gi-Oh! Merch that we did not have and will now have. I would really like to see more of like that Zeus, they're making the Zeus figure and like the enemy controller.
Oh, the model kit.
Yeah, I'd like to see those kind of things also get imported.
That's for us. That's for the big people.
So, yeah, but that's some cool Yu-Gi-Oh! Merch that's happening. I think, is there any other Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff going on?
Is there anything new in Master Duel?
Master Duel's getting some new cards today. I guess when you guys see them, see this video, they'll be out.
It's already outdated information.
Labyrinth, Generators, Trap Tricks, and Dark World, I think, are all getting their cards in this new little update.
No ninjas. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I guess that'll be later, maybe next month or something. But so some new cards for those interested in such archetypes. I will certainly be playing a little bit more Labyrinth myself, and I also want to update my Generator deck and give that a crack on Master Duel. See how it goes. I know Generator's not really the strongest thing, so maybe that'll have to be limited to casual mode or something, but...
As someone just shows up with tier anyway.
Oh, here's something that I just remembered. So there's been a lot of new fire support. Have you seen?
I have seen a little.
Yeah. What have you seen?
Some, Fire King support for like a new structure deck?
Yeah, new Fire King structure deck, but also in that Legendary Duelist Fire set. There's like Volcanic support. I know like that's like kind of always a meme. Mm-hmm. And like Pyro is finally getting a Rhoda.
Oh, yeah. I remember seeing the Pyro Rhoda.
That's a huge deal. I think they're also getting a King of the Feral Imps-esque monster.
Like a rank 4?
Like just kind of that rank 4 that just detached search 1. It also has some other effects.
Do fire decks usually run rank 4? I don't know.
I mean, I guess they can now. And then...
they have the option.
And there's also like that new kind of Monster Reborn-esque spell. It's actually based on an anime card. I don't remember what it's called now. But it's like a normal spell, and you just like you discard like a card, and you can get a fire monster back. I think you can either
I saw that card. I have no idea what the name is.
Yeah, you can special summon it or add it to the hand, and it's got like a graveyard effect that can kind of like be like a Jar of Avarice type of thing for fire or pyro. It basically feels like Konami is just sort of saying like, here's our apologies for the like 20 years that fire and like pyro and stuff were just completely neglected.
We just ignored you guys, It is what now, but with Pyro getting so much support, now what's the most underserved typing? Is it Sea Serpent?
Probably Sea Serpent. I mean, Thunder got
Maybe
Thunder
Thunder?
Dragons a few years ago, but they haven't got anything super recent. So.
And then the dragons aren't even, they're not really generic. Oh, they're kind of generic though.
They're fairly generic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be Thunder or Sea Serpent for sure. Rock got that big line of support,
Oh.
so they're fine.
Block Dragon makes me wish rocks didn't exist.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Master Duel player, you know the terrors of Block Dragon, but yeah. So I guess this all seems very cool. It's kind of that Year of Fire. I don't unfortunately really play too many fire decks, so none of this specifically speaks to me.
I'm building Infernobles.
But yeah, I don't know, we'll see. I mean, I'm still happy for them just to have cards. I think that anytime Yu-Gi-Oh is not making more dragons,
You know, I'm getting sick
I'm
of you
okay
being
with that.
happy for people getting things that you don't need or care about. We're supposed to be angry that everything that comes for someone else that isn't for us. Like
zero-sum game.
why is there new fire support when I don't have new Cosmos? See, that's the energy you need to be on.
That is a good question, though. Why aren't there new Cosmos?
Come on, like we got a new world premiere exclusive, but no Cosmos. Come on, man. Like
Yeah, so I think that's all the Yu-Gi-Oh I know.
that's it for me. I'm tapped out.
Okay, cool. So what else do we have then?
So I know we've already talked about the Magic the Gathering One Ring thing. It got found. We've heard nothing more since that happened, so don't ask. We don't even know if the guy sold it yet.
Mm-hmm.
That's in limbo as far as we know. The Shadowverse did release, and they have actually a funny little like a companion app. I think it's called like Shadowverse Sidekick, where you can actually scan your commander card into the app or whatever your leader commander thing is. You scan it into the app, it loads that character, and that app lets you control your life totals, and lets you manipulate like your resources. I don't know what the resource is called, but whatever resource you pay, it
Yeah,
stores
you were
the
showing this to
information.
me the other day. What do you like it?
I think it's cool. I like the idea of card games taking some of that kind of archaic pen and paper aspect of card games, just digitizing it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really cool too that you can like scan it just on the back. You don't even, like it's not even like a QR code thing. Like you just tap it to the back of your phone and it
Yeah,
immediately
there's a
like
chip
is
in the
read,
card.
like an NFC thing. So I always thought that more card games should try that. Now I know that I guess logistically there's some issues because really like official sort of sanctioned events would prefer players probably not have their phones like out during a game. But I think that for casual play, that's a really, really cool feature.
Yeah, because it makes me think to that game Battle Spirits with their little core things, those little tiny little stone things. Hate them to death. I hate moving them around all over the place, and they can roll off the table. There's one core that's different from all the other cores. If you lose that one core, now you have to figure something out about that.
Yeah.
I'd rather all that be digital so I can just play and enjoy myself.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I always thought it'd be cool if Yu-Gi-Oh could do that. I remember that's what the French guy, Super Zalo, he was using like NFC to do the whole hologram thing. I know Konami, I think, like shut that down or something, but the concept has always just been really neat. Like it feels like something Kaiba would do, you know, like just you scan your card in and like something happens, and so even just being able to scan it and see kind of a 3D avatar, I think is cool. So. Here's something from the Pokemon TCG. So, Pokemon TCG collectors blown away as Obsidian Flames Charizard card revealed. Now, Obsidian Flames is the next TCG set, and normally I wouldn't really care too much about this, but since I'm going to be trying to buy some of that Pokemon 151 thing, I wanted to increase my knowledge of the Pokemon TCG.
Is this Obsidian Flames before or after?
It's
151?
before.
Okay.
It's before 151. It comes out next month. Yeah, it's just called Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Obsidian Flames. And so there's a dark Terra type Charizard, and that's kind of where the name Obsidian Flames comes from. Like black fire. And so it's got this artwork. You can see it right there.
Oh, that's dope.
You guys can look it up, I guess, if you want to see it. It's a really cool, like, kind of terrestrializing Charizard. And, yeah, people just say the design's really gorgeous. I think that terrestrialization, if anything, has, like, made the cards look better. Or at least cooler. It might not be a look for everyone.
Are there more cards like that?
I think there's a few within the set. There's a different versions of Caesar, Mawile, Glamora EX, and a few other things, they say. It'll feature over 190 cards, including type-shifted Terra Pokemon and more than 15 trainer cards and 20 brand new Pokemon EX.
Oh, so it's also a mechanic in the game, like the game.
Yeah, I think the
types are
terrestrializing
shifted.
yeah, like this Charizard is like a dark type or whatever. So,
Interesting.
I don't know too much about playing the Pokemon TCG, but the cards sure do look cool.
It sounds like most people on YouTube know nothing about playing the game.
Yeah, I know a lot of people really prefer to just open it, it seems. That reminds me, I was opening some Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon cards recently. Realized Pokemon cards are really marked up.
What do you mean?
Like, when I went to GameStop to buy an Elite Trainer box, which is, I think, kind of the standard value thing to buy. I might have told this story already. It was $60, and apparently they're supposed to MSRP for like $40. And then when I was looking on like Target.com and all these other places, it seems like that's just kind of the average price of them now is like 40 is not, like, you'll be lucky to find things for the price they're at. So
That's interesting that the signaling has reached a macro point where major retailers are adjusting the prices of Pokemon cards because they know they'll sell at these higher price points.
yeah, I mean, I know they can get away with it because I guess it's the idea of finding one of those packs it's rare enough. I mean, it's not even that they're out of stock or anything. They were just high. Like they had plenty of the. This is Paldea Evolved.
I think it's
by the way,
it's not really about supply. It's about demand. They just know the demand is there, and they're willing to pay a higher price.
Yeah, so it's kind of disappointing. I mean, I think like it kind of brings me actually to not a story, but just a thought that like trading card games really are pretty pricey now. Like, because Yu-Gi-Oh packs are $4.49 a pack now, and that's just I don't know, that's a lot.
Sorry, I didn't really, as a kid, I didn't spend my own money to buy packs. So like,
Oh no, I know, but like I remember as a kid, Yu-Gi-Oh packs were $3.99, and then for like a little bit back in like 2020 or something, they went up to like $4.19, and now they seem like $4.49 is the new price. And so I don't know. I mean, like it's one of those things that really makes you realize inflation kind of sucks, and suddenly buying packs is like a little bit more. Like you feel the effect, I guess, a little bit more. Like I think that there's a big difference between something being $3.40 or $3.99 on a shelf versus like $4.49 when it comes to packs. Because now it's almost like, okay, buying 2 packs means that's like $9. And not long ago, buying 3 packs would have been like $10 if you got like a special edition. So it's like it's a small thing, but it adds up. I don't know. I don't really like it. It just kind of sucks.
I think there's Yu-Gi tubers out there would tell you just to go buy singles.
Yeah, I know. I mean, like you always could just buy the singles, but I think that it always sucks when like card games are like just feel like a little bit less accessible to people.
That will knock certain card games out of the range for certain players. That's just it is what it is. That's how it works. Now most card games, like at least like Yu-Gi-Oh is not like Pokemon. They're not knocking up our prices quite that high.
I mean, I don't know if Pokemon. I think that the Pokemon packs. That does remind me when I was at that GameStop. I think the packs are $4.99. I don't know if that's actually the MSRP of the Pokemon
I don't know
packs
what
right
the
now.
Pokemon MSRP is.
But it was $4.99.
You
So
know
that was
what?
even
I'm
more.
not gonna stay ignorant. I'm gonna look it up.
So I mean, like I don't know, just all these. Like I think the moment a card pack is $5, it's just like man, that's really.
I $5. See if I saw a pack that said $4.99, that would
hurts.
That would do something to me. I'm not 100% sure. That would change things. Let's see. Can I find the MSRP for a Why can't I just find the MSRP for a Pokemon pack?
Yeah, I mean, I think like it's it doesn't like I guess if you buy your packs as boxes, it probably doesn't make a big difference. But because I feel like the price of boxes doesn't seem to have really gone up as noticeably, but like individual packs has.
Though some shops they'll change the price of the box to just
some they'll just So I don't know. It's just a little bit. It's a thing I noticed. Not like really a piece of news.
This
Just
could be wrong, but it looks like it's $4.49.
okay, so Pokemon packs are also $4.49. So Yu-Gi-Oh packs have just achieved parity with Pokemon packs. Okay, cool. I did not know. All right. Anyways, that's enough of that Pokemon stuff. Got any other stories?
Yeah. Now this one isn't card game related.
Oh, that's cool.
So very recently, you might be familiar with Activision being bought by Microsoft.
Yeah, they're currently kind of in the process of that merger.
Well, the FTC they challenged it, and a federal judge said, "No, this looks legit to us." So, pending appeal, because the FTC can always escalate their challenge of this situation to a higher court. At least in America, this deal is good to go through.
Yeah.
They're still stalled, however, by the UK's Competition and Markets Authority, the CMA. They blocked it earlier this year, and until there's resolution on their end, this deal is still blocked. Just because the American side worked, it doesn't mean that the UK are going to feel the same way.
I mean, what do you think about it?
So,
I don't really know. Like, as someone who doesn't follow gaming much myself, and especially I'm not really very much of an Xbox gamer, I guess this is like good news if you're an Xbox sort of person.
I think it's okay-ish news because if you're a Call of Duty enjoyer and a Microsoft fanboy, then you can trust that future Call of Duty games will run even better on Microsoft hardware and maybe have some extra features that line up with what an Xbox can do. If you're like a Sony fanboy, right? There's actually what they've been trying to tell us is nothing will change for you, because they're not going to just stop having Call of Duty on PlayStation consoles, though that is one of the things that was brought up during the trial during their I don't know if it's arbitration, I don't know if it's considered a trial, whatever it is. They insinuated that Microsoft might block Sony from having access to the Call of Duty franchise, which I think at this point everyone agrees Call of Duty is too big of a franchise. Activision is too big of a company to just be solely walled off and owned by one company.
Yeah.
You can own it, but you can't stop everyone else from using it too.
Yeah, I mean, I know Activision Blizzard, that's a lot of games. Because, I mean, that's like what? Like World of Warcraft, Diablo, right?
Yeah.
Overwatch, a lot of those things. Just all those different games. So it does kind of make you wonder, well, if all those games are all under the Microsoft umbrella, does that give them too much of an advantage? I don't care, actually, because I don't know. I hate like not being able to have an opinion on these things. It's just that I don't really play these games. Someone please tell me, is this a problem? Is this good or bad? Because like, as far as I know, I mean, like if they're going to keep the games multi-platform, maybe it's okay. And it doesn't really make much difference.
I know there is worry that some of these games won't be multi-platform anymore. And I think for some people and for some groups, they won't find that this deal is healthy unless they know for a fact that these games will still be available on many different platforms.
Makes me wonder if Sony's just going to like buy some company to like kind of just, even the odds or something. Like I've always thought like Sony would just buy Square Enix or something.
I'm surprised it hasn't happened either.
Because the companies have such a kind of a tied history. People associate Final Fantasy with like PlayStation. So, I mean, maybe they just do that. But then it gets a little scary because it's like if all these companies are being bought out by like, just the major game console owners, it's like, maybe that wouldn't be very good.
I think in a weird way, this is kind of funny. I think Sony is worried that Microsoft would do what they would do in that situation. Because Sony is known for their exclusives. They love locking games down as PlayStation exclusives for like a year or so.
They would prefer, or forever.
or forever.
I mean, they would prefer that they get to be the one who has that advantage, I think.
Yeah, it's like, oh no, if Microsoft does it now, it's a problem when we've been doing that forever.
Yeah, they've done that with, like, I mean, God of War, Ratchet and Clank, Last of Us,
There's
Uncharted.
so many examples of
what's that new
Sony
one, Horizon?
PlayStation the Horizon
Spider-Man.
series. Spider-Man recently got released on PC.
Yeah, so they'll keep it for like a year or two, and then.
So would that if Microsoft did a whole walled garden approach with their Activision titles, that would give them a very strong advantage. But I don't think that's the case.
I mean, it sounds like Microsoft sure needs it. Like they've been saying that they kind of these last few generations haven't been like good to them. I mean, the PS4 outsold the Xbox One. The PS5's outselling the Xbox Series X. It sounds like they need the help. So this is their way of maybe. Like, I remember reading headlines. I have not followed this case at all, but like personally, but just when I see the headlines, it's usually them saying like, we lost the console wars, like we need this help. So,
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, they make themselves certainly sound like things
defeated.
Yeah, they sound very defeated. It sounds very defeated. I mean, I have friends who like play a lot on Xbox and stuff. It sounds like the Xbox is fine. Like, I mean, people say they like Game Pass and stuff, right? Like, is it a
Game
problem?
Pass was new and novel years ago. Not everyone's copying it.
Yeah, but they say Sony's Game Pass is not as good as Game Pass.
It's not.
No, you guys.
I only play Sony consoles.
Somebody who's like maybe more informed, please let me know. Like, I mean, what's the deal, right? Like, is Xbox just really shit and they just need so much help, or is it fine? Because I'd like to know. Like, I haven't owned an Xbox console in a while, so
never had.
I don't know what goes on over there.
I did think about getting one when the PS5 was having that horrendous supply issue where you just couldn't get one no matter how badly you wanted one.
Yeah.
I debated getting an Xbox. I didn't do it.
You know what's interesting? This is not related at all to the story, but the Xbox Series S is so tiny.
It is?
I finally saw one in real life. Somebody had one, and like I saw it, and it's just really small. The Series X is actually smaller than I thought it was. Like, they're just really small consoles. I know that has nothing to do with the story at all, but like they do. They're tiny.
But you like compact tech.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm still not buying an Xbox. But
PlayStation 5 is huge.
Yeah, the PS5
I got the one of disc too, so it's
enormous. So it's kind of interesting.
It's basically a computer. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to do like a PS5 Slim or something soon.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think they need to. Like, I like the design kind of look of the PS5. It's just really big. Like, if they can kind of trim that thing down.
Whenever I travel with mine, I have to give it its own bag. It's ginormous.
Yeah, see, yeah.
And then one time at the airport, I was taking my PlayStation out, so you had to separate your tech from the rest of your bags. And the guy next to me took his PlayStation out because we were doing the same thing. And we have the default, but we had the default disc version PlayStation 5s. They look exactly the same. We had them in identical bins. And
yeah, see.
When they came out from the TSA X-ray machine, we weren't 100% sure the ones that we had picked up were ours. We didn't know if maybe they'd picked them up, switched them around, or anything.
Yeah, I know.
And we couldn't just turn them on in line. So we just had to trust that the ones we thought was ours was ours.
They're gonna make a mark on it. You know, like the one kid did when I was in school with his Yu-Gi-Oh cards. He would put a little dot on them with his pin. He would just destroy the card's value and condition. He would take a little pin and draw a little circle. He's like, "These are mine." Because I think people have been. This is like when I was in like maybe 7th grade or something, and some guy was like, "People have been stealing my Yu-Gi-Oh cards, so like this is how I'm going to identify them is by ruining them."
They definitely want to steal them now.
Mark. So,
like, did he like dig into them a bit where you get that little dig?
Yeah, a little dig. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, he dug into them with that pin. Oh, it just gives me anxiety.
That's awful.
Yeah, I know. It was terrible. We all told him like you don't need to do that, but he did. So.
Can you imagine trading with him?
I think people stopped. I mean, I guess a few people did if you really need the card, but like, yeah.
Trade him for his damaged cards.
Anyways, good luck to Microsoft, I'll say.
Yes.
I hope that,
you
know, they can get what they want out of this deal and that gamers don't suffer too much for it. And I'm sure they'll suffer a little, but
I think I heard Nintendo wasn't happy with this deal either. But since they also love having exclusives, I just feel like they don't have a leg to stand on.
Any shit. Like, do people really buy like? I just didn't think that people that bought like Nintendo stuff really even cared about Xbox things.
You'd think.
Probably
I mean, they do.
me.
There are Call of Duty games on Nintendo for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know who's making the mistake of playing those, but and maybe they're good. Sorry, let me not be too okay. Well, anyways, good luck to Microsoft and Activision, and just figure it out, I suppose.
Good luck.
Yeah, hopefully it's okay.
My tablet has died.
Oh, your tablet died?
Yeah.
Did you have another story?
I might have, but I don't even remember anymore.
All right, well, that sounds like it's a good time for the pot.
It's time for the pot.
Yeah, it's time to use the pot of greed. All right, we got questions.
We might have answers.
And we'll have some sort of answers. Will they be the answers that you want?
Probably not.
Hard to say.
Okay, I got 2.
All right, I'm going to draw my 2. We always appreciate that you guys send these questions because you never quite know what you'll get inside the pot of greed.
There were a couple of curveballs in there. We might see them this week. We might see them next week.
All right. Who's going to draw their card first?
All right. My first card. Yeah. Is, should the TCG adopt a Duel Link style ban list?
Oh, Duel Link style ban list as
so
in
that
like
whole like
limit 1,
limit
2.
limit 2, limit 3.
No.
Yes, Master Duel uses that too, right?
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't?
Master Duel's
Oh,
still
okay.
just like, nope, don't do that. Here's why. The idea, cool. Implementation, no. That is such a confusing way to like illustrate ban lists to people. So here's where I'm coming from with that. So that works in Duel Links because it's like a digital game. It can always like just be like your deck has too much of this. It will tell you, it won't let you put another card in. And Speed Duel has it right now. They've implemented that sort of list. And it works because the card pool is very small and not that many people even play Speed Duels. So if you play, you must care.
Shade.
And hey, I'm a Speed Duel player. I like it. But there's only a few like cards in like Limit 1 and Limit 2 and all that stuff and Limit 3. But the TCG's current ban list is over 200 cards, if you can believe that, or something like it. It's like a lot. There's like 100, 200 cards. Like there's so many cards, but like I don't think that. How are you gonna like communicate that to people? Because like the Limit 1 list will be like just 40 cards in Limit 1, and then like 40 cards in Limit 2 and like 40 cards in Limit 3, and just deck building would get so difficult. Now, do I think it's a good idea, like as just strictly objective balancing goes? I think that you could accomplish a lot with that. There's some really great cards that come to mind for me right now that would be like, okay, good, if you run this and you can't run this or whatever.
So you like that type of ban list, but you think it would be a nightmare to implement. Yeah. Okay.
What do you think?
I mean, I'm with you on that. I pretty much have the same feelings of the matter. I remember when we went to Germany trying to figure out what the world's ban list was, and it's a normal ban list, and we were all confused and trying to figure out what cards are legal in the world's format.
Yeah, and
that's obviously does a traditional normal ban list. So I can't even imagine if we were trying to figure out a Duel Links-esque ban list without a chart or something in front of us to tell us.
Yeah, like I feel like you'd have to really have it like standing in front of you, whereas like it's easier now to just kind of know like, oh, that's a 1. Now, as far as what cards I think could be, what like cards and strategies could be balanced really well this way, I think this would be a great way to kind of handle Yu-Gi-Oh's problem with, say, generic extra deck monsters, right? Mm-hmm. People oftentimes complain that things like Apollosa or Barone or Abyss Dweller or Access Code or all these other things, Borrowed Savage or whatever, are so generic and any deck can use them. So, maybe you put all those cards on Limit 1. So now, if you're running, Barone, then you don't get to also run like Borrowed Savage and Access Code and Apollosa.
Those poor combo decks.
So like that could kind of check a lot of these just really generic piley combo decks that some people don't like. I'm not saying that like those are the worst thing in the world, but just that like I think that could be a good balancing mechanism for that without ever having to outright ban any one card.
That's a great way to check combo decks and just to like throw some throw some sand on control decks fire. I really love the idea of putting like good controlling engine cards for control decks, putting them at limit 2, where it's like, oh, you can only run at 2 of these cards, but only like 2 distinct copies. So it severely hampers your consistency and speed.
I mean, I say throw some floodgates on that bitch. Right? Like, just throw in, like, there can be only one, and skill drain, and, like, all those other floodgates.
I was gonna put floodgates on limit 1.
I think, like, put that on limit 1 or limit... Because here's the thing, you could even put that stuff on limit 3, and it would still be surprisingly effective. Because a lot of, like, I think of, say, Master Duel, right? Where people will play, like, these runic decks that are just hatred, right? It's just, there can be only one, Rivalry of Warlords goes in match, and that's, like, and then and skill drain, just flip all of them on you. And it's like, if all those floodgates, if all 4 of those cards... like goes in rivalry, there can be only one in skill drain, let's say, or summon limit. If those are all in like limit 3, then I don't know if anyone knows like exactly what we're saying, but if a card's at limit 3, it means like you have a total of 3 of all of them. So I could run like 1, there can be only one, and 2 goes in match, and that's it. That's all the floodgates I get in my deck. I think that could be a great way to deal with the floodgate problem. You could still keep floodgates legal, but now you have to really like think about what is the kind of 1 or 2 floodgates that my deck can use that I want to use, and like you don't get to have like a total of 12 different floodgate traps.
They don't get to be consistent.
Flip them all, and they're just showing up all the time. So I think you can balance combo really well that way, and you can balance a lot of other stuff. I also think that you could start to do some really neat things with like, I think of, here's a good example. Do you remember when people were running like Fusion Destiny and what is that Link monster? Vert Anaconda.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like maybe you could kind of do something where like that's at limit 1 or limit 2. Like, so just you can choose to run like one or the other or something like that. Like, some sort of combination of that. Where
then we could have Vert and Fusion Destiny legal in the TCG, but you can't run them together.
Yeah, like those sorts of things. I think it's a shame. What this person is saying is a very good rule. It's just logistically, I really do fear having to follow that list. For judges, that's a nightmare because like, people are submitting these deck lists. Now judges have to know the list like
you have to you have to cross-reference all the cards.
Everything and every list.
They'd have to change the way you submit deck lists. You now have to... Or instead of just having the monster spell trap categories, you'll have monster spell traps, but then you have to separate them by what their limit is. Oh, see,
that's...
And
we don't need any more barriers to entry for like a person to go into a tournament.
Oh, don't worry. It's the judges have to deal with that.
Well, the players do too.
Oh, that's the right.
They're gonna make a list. So
if your list is wrong, you get disqualified.
So I don't know. I like the idea. I think the implementation would be hell on earth to enforce. So
fair.
Unfortunately, I'm not a fan. Are you? Do you think there's any? You agree or?
I agree. Yeah. I mean,
Yu-Gi-Oh mechanics you'd like to see in other TCGs.
Yu-Gi-Oh mechanics I'd like to see in other TCGs. So, now this doesn't really count because Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't even do this anymore, or not to the same extent. I really like old school Yu-Gi-Oh's idea of your monsters being the resource. So many games are coming up with these innovative and creative resource systems. But at the end of the day, a card game player wants to just slap down their monsters. They want to slap down their creatures. They want to slap down their sorcerers or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I love the idea that by playing monsters, they can feed my future plays because I can tribute those monsters to make even bigger monsters. So I love the idea of your monsters being the resource. Now, Yu-Gi-Oh went completely off the rails, but that's a whole other thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't play a lot of other TCGs, as you guys kind of know. So it's hard to really say like what Yu-Gi-Oh mechanic I'd want in another TCG. So I'll just say a surface level thing might be, I think it's cool that Yu-Gi-Oh has, how to describe it? Like the extra deck is kind of a cool concept. I know not every game, some games have like a similar-ish thing to it.
But I think that's more of in response to Yu-Gi-Oh's extra deck than
but yeah,
being
I think
innovators.
like having an extra deck seems like something that other card games could use. It certainly has the ability to get broken. We all know like cards that can kind of like come out of nowhere, which is what the extra deck is.
Yeah.
It's part of what broke Yu-Gi-Oh's power creep sort of balance to begin with. But I do think it's still really cool. I do like that the extra deck gets to be like this toolbox of options for you at almost any given time, and that you can sort of treat your extra deck as something that's separate from your deck, but is still accessible, like a toolbox, like I said. So I mean, I don't know. That would be kind of neat, but I also don't know how that would really translate to.
I mean, many card games have introduced their own extra deck in some shape or form. I mean, Vanguard years ago implemented their what's called a stride deck or whatever, where they essentially had extra deck monsters that you could just plop out to the board when you met their conditions, and you could play them. I forget how the stride deck works in a mechanic. I haven't played that game in a long time, but then they made a ride deck a little bit more recently, just so that you could consistently level up your Vanguard.
But that was only the Vanguard's extra forms.
But yeah, that was
right?
only the Vanguards.
Okay.
And then there's what game is that?
Grand Archive. I know
Yeah, Grand Archive.
The material.
It's like both of those concepts. The material deck, it has the other levels for your leader, but then it also has like these Regalia. Was that what they were called? I forget.
The Regalia cards.
The Regalia cards that could augment your turn-to-turn strategies. So yeah, I think that's a fair thing to want to see in card games.
I mean, there's the only other thing I was gonna say is like I think Yu-Gi-Oh's life point system is kind of more interesting than some card games, like prize card-esque system or like security in Digimon or whatever they. Every game's kind of has like a different name for them. But I haven't thought as much about that, so I'll keep my mouth shut. Because I mean, I don't even think like life points are a great system or anything. Half the time it's exploited in Yu-Gi-Oh. So.
They're just numbers, but the only one that matters
is your last one. Like that's always been Yu-Gi-Oh's thing. Life point costs barely mean much. So, I mean, not to say that burn doesn't have a threat level with like the way that time works, but it's just generally within a game you don't have to care that much about life points. So, I've always thought that maybe Yu-Gi-Oh should do more to make the life points matter, but that ship's kind of long.
Then we exploit it in a different way. I mean, look at Dynamorphia decks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like that ship sailed. I don't think that.
Or go in the opposite direction, Oro Mage.
And that can never really even truly be that viable.
No,
because I mean, if you have a billion life points, they'll just eventually come down.
A billion life points, but no card advantage. Ooh.
Yeah, so that's kind of Yu-Gi-Oh's. So I won't get into life because I don't think any other game needs these problems. Right?
Yeah, it's probably not necessary.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Let's see. Oh, that's the wrong one. Here we go. Well, this isn't even card game related.
Oh boy.
What is your favorite video game?
Oh, what is yours? A favorite video game?
My favorite video game.
I think that anytime somebody asks this, there should be a stipulation for like, what is your favorite game like of all time versus like right now?
Right. That's very.
So that's
important.
how we're gonna answer it.
How?
With like both, like what is your favorite game like right now, and then like what's your like favorite game of all time?
Okay, so
like,
my favorite video game right now.
Yeah,
I'm going to toss that to. I'm not going to include live service games because those are just unfair.
I mean, you can. I think.
I get they're unfair. I'm gonna give it to Final Fantasy 16. I've been really enjoying that game. As for what the games I've been playing in the last like few months, it was between that and Street Fighter. But 16, I find it to be a lot of fun.
What are you liking about 16?
The Game of Thrones-esque world that they're working within. I really like that type of fantasy, and the action combat it's fun, tiring but fun.
Tiring? What do you mean?
Those fights take forever. Oh my god. Like bosses, normal enemies have so much health. Bosses have so much health that you're doing these crazy Devil May Cry-esque combos over and over and over.
Oh, it's going to be a little repetitive.
Like repetitive-ish since you're still trying to like dodge things and whatnot, but they just take a long time to get through all that health.
Yeah, I mean, I found 16 looks, I think visually great looking game. The combat, I know what people mean when they say like it's not really Final Fantasy, but I wouldn't say that's like objectively bad. I think that just means that more so than past Final Fantasies, this is very much a like to taste thing. Like it's either this is your taste in how your game combat works or it's not. Because like otherwise, if it was a Final Fantasy game, you kind of knew what you were getting into. But this time, it's like I can see how that's a little polarizing.
Like, but to me, it doesn't feel that different from Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah, I think Final Fantasy has been slowly creeping its way towards this, and they've been gradually trying more and more like action-based combat to kind of modernize the series.
Because what they made Strangers of Paradise, which
Strangers
is
of
more
Paradise
Dark
is very
Souls-esque.
similar, kind of to Dark Souls. I mean, even 7 Remake kind of, it was like mixing a bit of JRPG with like action. So, yeah, like I don't know. I see why people don't all like it, but I don't think it's bad in its own right. So
Right.
and I've liked the characters in 16 that I've seen. I mean, I haven't like really. I've just watched you play sometimes. Like the characters are really cool. Clive, I thought I wasn't gonna like him. He's fun. He's not like a brooding, just mellow.
He can brood a little bit.
He's a little brooding, but everyone's allowed to be a little brooding.
Yeah, I mean, his backstory is sad.
Yeah. I think he's earned the right to be a little brooding. He's lost a lot.
But don't dodge your answer. What is your favorite?
Yeah. So my current
right
favorite game, Master Duel. That's all I'm touching, like a lot of Master Duel. You guys don't know I play a lot of it. Okay, I'm gonna leave that out though because I don't think that's a fair. Because like if you're excluding live service games, then
I was gonna if I was doing that, I'd have to say Fortnite or something.
Yeah, I think like game. I don't play a lot of them. So the last game that I played that I was really liking was Hogwarts Legacy, which I have not finished the campaign of that, and I really do want to go in and finish it. That game is really fun. I am a huge Potterhead, and I mean, I got the pot of greens. I'm a Potterhead.
This is not associated with that franchise.
No, but yeah, I'm a really big Harry Potter fan, so I was looking forward to Hogwarts Legacy. When I played it, I was just blown away by how much like raw kind of content and stuff there is to do. It's just a lot to do, a lot to collect, a lot to like go and see and get involved in, and like it still also managed to feel kind of cozy and like Harry Potter like just the feelings I associate with it, like so being in Hogwarts.
I saw a random thing about that game.
Uh-oh.
No, it's truly random. Someone made, I guess it's like a TikTok series about what's the name of the character, the blind one.
Oh my god, I haven't played so long. What is his name? Amicus or
Ominous
Gaunt.
Someone made a TikTok series, and it's Ominous Gaunt talking. I guess it's using like AI, and
like talking shit.
I don't know what I forget what he talks about, but they were calling it like a quote unquote spin-off of Hogwarts Legacy.
Okay, yeah, Ominous Gaunt's an asshole. At least for like the first part of the game, he's an ass. He gets better later, but like. No, he's an asshole. That's another thing. I like all the characters in the game. They're all very fun. They you get up to some shit, like as a student.
Yeah.
Like, they really sell the whole, like, these kids are getting up to some stuff.
In true Harry Potter fashion.
Yeah. So good game. I need to finish the campaign for it. Yeah, Hogwarts Legacy is really fun. I was going to say, like, there's nothing, like, because I play, like, other live service games. Like, I play, like, Final Fantasy 14, but
the critically acclaimed MMORPG.
The only thing is, I won't call that my favorite game unless like an expansion is just dropped. Then I feel like I could say like Endwalker is my favorite game, but now that Endwalker is like over-ish, you know what I mean? Like
Endwalker ended.
Yeah, now we're gonna get whatever else. I wonder if they're gonna announce a new one at the Fan Fest. I think that's like this weekend or something, or next weekend.
It might get a name or something.
Okay, now my favorite game of all time.
All time.
Yeah, what is yours?
See, you weren't supposed to just toss it back to me like that. No, wait.
Mine is probably Super Smash Brothers, either Melee or Brawl. I don't know which. I've spent a lot of time in both of them, but I don't know which one's my favorite. I think my favorite to like currently play would probably be Melee. Like I still play that, but Brawl I was like big into the Brawl modding scene and like all that. So
Brawl modding, yeah, because there was one. What was that mod called? I forget. There was one
Project
Brawl mod that everyone.
Project
M was the one everyone played.
There's lots of like textures and game modes. People have done all kinds of things in that game, good and bad.
So my favorite game of all time, it's hard because I've played so many, but I'm gonna give it to Ace Combat 5.
Okay.
Yeah, I've always loved the Ace Combat series, guys. If you don't know, it's like an arcade fighter jet game. So it's not the most like not fantasy or anything, but Ace Combat 5 was about as close to I guess fantasy as you could get in that series. It was such a gripping story, and I loved the music. I was so invested in that game. I cried multiple times. Every year, I have to like go back and play cutscenes from that game just to relive the nostalgia.
Yeah, I never knew a lot about the Ace Combat games. It's one of those series I've never really known a lot about.
It's not because it's not one of those things a person just picks up and plays, because it's you see these metal birds, and it's like, well, I'm not really into planes, so why would I pick this up? You don't think that, well, maybe there's a really engaging story. You don't really see characters.
Yeah, because it doesn't seem like it's like a story-driven game, but it actually is.
It's kind of like you know how racing games, Gran Turismo, Forza. You know how there's people who play those games religiously, and there's many people who just never pick them up because they're not really into cars like that.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if those games are known for having stories or anything, but there's still that same barrier.
About Ace Combat, is Ace Combat more of a like flight sim, or is it like kind of more like a arcade flying?
Oh, very much an arcade flying.
Okay,
It is not like a sim at all. I think you could hook up a flight stick to it. Actually, I own a flight stick. I haven't tried it on my Ace Combat yet, but yeah, it's way more arcadey.
Okay, I didn't know. All right, well, I've got my next card.
What you got?
This is the last card of the day. Oh, this is an easy one. Japan exclusive Yu-Gi-Oh product you'd like to see imported. All.
Okay, you guys have to give an answer.
No, I mean, there's a lot. Like, okay, the enemy controller right now. I mean, like, I know that's one that won't be getting imported. Like,
not unless you
normally,
import
so I'm gonna have to like get it. But like, seriously though, like all. Like, I think that any time that they make these Japanese, like that Zeus figure and all that stuff, like,
what if you can only get one though?
I mean, if I can only get one, I want the enemy controller. I've wanted an enemy controller for many years. Okay. But like, I really think they just need to like make them all available here. There's no point in like holding it over there. We'll buy them. I will. I'll buy them if nothing else. But
let me think.
Don't worry, Konami. You'll get all the money you need from me.
What would if I could get one Japanese Yu-Gi-Oh product to the States? It would be Rush Duels. Come on, Konami. Count. Yes, it does. I want the physical Rush Duel cards. That's what I want.
Well, it's not Japan exclusive. You got a video game on the Switch.
No, it is. I can't get physical English cards. It's Japan exclusive.
I thought you were gonna say like the Zeus model or something. I mean, that's kind of a.
I thought that was coming over.
It's not.
It's not.
It's like a premium Bandai thing, but like you don't get to just walk in and buy it. You gotta order it.
We'll see.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think they should do like all this whole like OCG, TCG, and like Japan exclusive stuff. All that shit needs to stop.
Yeah, we're ending the beef right here.
Yeah, like I think that they just need to just release everything here. Like I know there's like some inherent risk, I guess, in releasing some of this stuff overseas. Maybe it'll just undersell and it'll be like a lost venture. But you gotta try. Come on.
So what you gonna do? You gonna pay him back? You gonna pay him back the money?
Yeah, I will. I'll pay up. No, I don't know. I mean, at least bring over some more like the figures and models, which they are slowly doing, as we did cover.
That's true. Yeah.
There's a few more things that are coming over that might not have happened a few years back. So cool.
Yeah. So those are our cards, which means that brings the pot of greed.
Yeah, it brings the pod to an end. I wanted to give a quick shout out to Hypeland. I got a new shirt from there.
I didn't wear my new one.
Expo. I don't know if you guys can like see the sleeve here. Really, you have to like.
Let's see.
There's like a. Jeez, let me
show it to him from the back.
Like maybe you can.
Ooh.
I don't know if that even shows up. There's a Jinzo on there, so it's got a cool Jinzo shirt.
I have a Flame Wingman one that I should have worn, but I'm an idiot.
And also, I got some Sonic Crocs. I don't know if you guys have seen them. Larry's
socks,
Sonic Crocs, and I'm wearing them with Sonic socks.
This feels like a Dr. Seuss nursery rhyme challenge.
Maybe Sega should sponsor me. I'm kind of a fan over here. Jesus,
his Sonic Crocs that he wears with his
I just want to say
socks.
I've been converted. So
Sonic or Crocs?
To Crocs. I used to think that Crocs were like, oh, this is so lame. Like I'm never gonna wear Crocs. It's corny. Like it's why do people wear these? They look so silly and weird. They're so comfortable, guys. These are the most comfortable shoes I've ever worn. I love these things. I will now wear Crocs as like my leisure shoes every day of the year.
This feels like the end of the green eggs and ham story.
Yeah, I will not.
He will wear them.
At first, I was like, I will not wear a Croc. I will not wear them on a dock. I will not wear them with a sock or whatever. I will not wear Crocs. Paul, I am. But now I'm like, no. I love Crocs. These are great.
He
Sponsor me or
wear
something. I don't
them
know.
in a box.
All right, I think that's it for everything, huh?
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, guys. That has been the Pot of Greed.
We'll see you guys in the next one. Pass
Pass
turn.
turn.